Hello beautiful people, here's a quick review of the new Japanese SPAAG, the SUB-1-2 from the Apex Predator update in War Thunder. Hope you enjoy. Let's first look at some of the pros and cons for this armed bento box. Some of the pros. Gun. The weapon on this SPAAG is a rapid-firing 20mm cannon. The vehicle can carry a total of 800 shells with 3 different kinds of ammunition, high explosive, high velocity AP, and as far as I am aware, the lowest battle rating vehicle able to use APDS shell, meaning armored piercing discarding sabot, at battle rating 5.3. I bet this vehicle will soon have its battle rating increased. The base turret rotation is pretty fast with 42 degrees a second. With a gunner's targeting skill up to 5, it is just over 50 degrees a second, and with an aced-out crew, it is a very impressive 60 degrees a second. The gun can depress minus 10 degrees, which is very nice and handy, and can elevate 80 degrees. It's not perfect, but still pretty good. Vehicle. The vehicle itself is pretty good as well. Top speed is just 50 km an hour, but that's enough, and once you have it spaded, it has a pretty good acceleration too. Crew. The sub, as I will call it from now on, has a crew of 4. The driver, commander and bow gunner are all located in the nose of the vehicle, while the gunner is in the back. This means that the vehicle has a lot of empty space between the 2 crew sections, and it can actually survive quite a lot of damage if hit somewhat center, the only vulnerable part being the engine. The gunner's position is not fully enclosed, but he sits somewhat protected down in the turret, but he can still be taken out by machine gun fire. Smoke shells. Once unlocked, the sub has 2 rows of 3 smoke launchers, and they fire in pairs, so 3 discharges in total. The shells detonate left and right of the vehicle and not directly in front of it, and that is something to take note of. Bow machine gun. Lastly, the SPAAG also has a functional bow machine gun, which has a degree of traverse left and right. It's not the most useful thing in the world, but it can be useful in a pinch. And some of the cons. Armor. As you would have guessed, the sub has minimal armor. Its sizes are just 18mm total, 10mm on top and 20mm to the front. So everything besides a light machine gun can pin this vehicle. Ammo count. I think 800 shells total is on the lower side, since it's a rather large vehicle where there should be plenty of storage place for the ammo. Besides that, the gun has a very high rate of fire with 800 rounds per minute, so you need to control those fire bursts or you will quickly run out of ammo. At its current battle rating of 5.3, the sub is a very effective SPAAG and on occasion, and if you're careful, effective tank destroyer. The regular high velocity armor piercing ammunition has an armor pin of 57mm at 10 meters and 37mm at 500 meters. That is enough to destroy almost all other SPAAGs out there, even at greater distances, together with M18s and so on. If you get close enough, you can also pin the sides of Panthers, all T-34s, and the top of a Tiger from the side, if you get close enough. With the saber round, this is increased to 66mm at 10 meters and 45mm at 500 meters. So even at a couple of 100 meters distance, you can still pin the sides of a Panther and the T-34. You cannot scratch heavier tanks like the KV-1s and the IS series of tanks, even at point-blank range, but you can still destroy their barrels and tracks, helping out and scoring assists that way. In the role as a pure anti-aircraft vehicle, this bento box is really good. The turret rotation is fast enough to follow planes that are somewhat close to you, and the 20mm shell with its high mass velocity is able to hit and destroy aircraft at great distances. The choice of ammo is a little fuzzy. Before you get the APDS shell, I just suggest that you go with the default build. The build switches between high explosive and high velocity AP. Once you have the APDS shell unlocked, you can also bring the belt which contains 3 high explosive and then 1 AP shell. You can also just stick with the default build altogether and forgo the extra armor pin of the APDS shell, although it is pretty great. But that way you don't have to bother with switching between builds. Personally, I have split it 50-50 with 4 builds of APDS and 4 builds with a belt that contains the most AT shell for more effectively to bring down aircraft. The APDS build is really not suited against aircraft, since you have 3 APDS shells and then only 1 high explosive shell. And with the APDS shell, since it does not contain any high explosive content, you do need to hit a critical component to do any real damage to the aircraft. All in all, I think this vehicle is a great addition to the Japanese Grand Prix. But I think it's just a matter of time before it will have its battle rating increased to 5.7 or 6.0 or even greater. It's a little sad, but on the other hand, there's really no lineup for this vehicle at battle rating 5.3, so you will most likely bring it with your 5.7 or above lineup. But that was about it. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember to deploy the die brakes. Have a good one.